Being born as Gen Z unlocks immense of economic potential supported by technological advancement. Gen Z is known to be tech-savvy from the early age, so they have capability to think creatively and innovatively, which will certainly be useful in the midst of unlocked globalization. But how can Gen Z utilize their tech-savvy and ability to think creatively and innovatively to deal with the impact of unlocked globalization? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. Excellency to all of the judges, the Honorable, the Committee of Win Maulana Maliki Malang, and the respected audience. Hi, I'm Aisha Zawa Hidayatullah, and right now I'm standing here to share my thoughts on the importance of English to Gen Z's creative and innovative thinking amidst the technological advancement. I believe that English plays an important role in Gen Z's creativity and innovation because besides having high creativity power in the era where information moves as fast as light and can be accessed easily, English is the key to showcasing business creativity and innovation on the world stage. Supported by creativity and innovation, Gen Z is able to create products and services that had never been thought of. And also, they can make innovation from previous products and services. So, is English so influential that it needs more attention? Of course, English is very influential in life because it is able to open various opportunities for us. This is also one of the reasons why many people are interested in English. Some of these opportunities are business expansion, communicating with people around the world, and products marketing. According to Jakarta Fortune Indonesia, young entrepreneurs are growing. Research from EY and GA Worldwide shows that 53% of Gen Z expect to run their own business in the next 10 years. In addition, being an entrepreneur such as trader is one of the things that is sunnah in Islam because our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a trader. Narrated by Ahmad Imam Hambali in the book Musnad Ahmad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ayyuhal kasbi atyabu qala amalur rajuli biyadihi wa kullu ba'in mabrurin. Which means, Ya Rasulullah, what is the best livelihood? He said, the work of a man with his own hands and every trade that is mabrur. Reported by banghijrah.id, the explanation of the hadith is that a better job with one's own hands is none other than trading. I strongly believe in principle that big things start with small things. We as Gen Z can start our business career with the small things. For example, selling goods in the school area by using English names to attract customers. Furthermore, I'm sure talent and passion it is not enough to develop business. From our small step, we can go beyond maximizing the use of digital platform. Luckily for us, in the era of globalization, many platforms such as Amazon, Upwork, Instagram open the doors to start a business. This further encourages the increase of young entrepreneurs through the power of networking, social networks, and online interaction. Another benefit by mastering English for our entrepreneur is that they can communicate more easily and effectively to clients, business partners, and customers from different countries. For example, expanding the reach of products and services abroad can be accomplished by marketing on several platforms so that everyone around the world knows the products and services that we offer. Based on my own experience, I once got a client from Canada with the service that I offered, which was creating illustrations on a platform called Upwork. From there, I realized that English will be very helpful in reaching customers from abroad. Moreover, if our business has reached a profitable point and we have a high potential to attract the attention of outside investors, of course, language communication will play an important role because it can help us establish cooperation with these investors. In conclusion, support from technological advancement, creative and innovative thinking has created an increasing economic potential for Gen Z. In the face of the onslaught of globalization, Gen Z can make use of their creativity and innovation, as well as their technological understanding, to start their own business career. In particular, the utilization of English will also help them open various opportunities for their business, such as business expansion and communicating with customers and business partners from various countries. Thus, Gen Z has a great opportunity to succeed in the era of globalization by utilizing creative thinking, innovative thinking, technology, and their English skills. English has helped us a lot of things, including expanding business. Also, with the support from digital world, we can thrive with its platforms and facilities. Now, we as Gen Z are the ones who have to find ways to optimize the use of English in facilities and platforms. These are available for everyone. However, not everyone can be successful in dealing with these technologies. In fact, many people feel the negative impact of technology, and we must avoid this. As a generation of people who have the duty to advance Indonesia, we should be able to determine all small steps to acquire big things. This is what Indonesia expects from us. Make technology as a tool for us and don't let us be used by it. The fate of Indonesia in the future is in your hands. I'm Aishazallah Hidayatullah, and last but not least, I would like to thank you for having me and thank you for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In this century, the approaching of modern civilization becomes more common object in every aspect of our life. The welcoming of sophisticated technology, for instance, indicates that people activism automatically changed into the new engineering system. This new child has also driven parameter education to a high position where all competencies are undoubtedly measured with an English language skill. Ironically, ladies and gentlemen, an unexpected problem happened today that in my similarity age, English has no major importance. So excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, how we affect this challenge if we don't have English? That's why I do really need your understanding by coming closer to me with all due respect untitled. Why should people learn English? Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for me, a student and this young generation, English is unique and important thing to learn. As the proof, I'm a Javanese. I know that I'm not a native speaker, but something that me admit English is unique thing. When I try to have conversation with my friend, my accent is a little bit trying to be heard. Also, since I come to the English academic world, my life is totally changed to who I am right now. Based on the survey by International University of Singapore, that English becomes way for people to communicate across the country. I know every country has its national language, but English becomes the option to connect people in wide range of communication, and English is universal language. Therefore, English plays a crucial role in this modern era. There are many reasons that I have to tell you, but I pick the strongest reason why we must master English. For the first reason is because English is the unifying language of the world and official international language. Ladies and gentlemen, actually, learning English is not only getting involved with grammar rules and new vocabulary, but also a person to connect diverse culture that never been accessed beforehand. It aims to know more about complex culture and cultural expressions such as traditions, events, festival, etc. It will broaden our perception of life. You know that English is funny and an interesting language that should be learned by all people around. Besides, English is prominent in global media. If you know English or speak English fluently, you will not need to rely on the subtitle and you can enjoy your movie, books, novel, or TV shows because those are produced in English. If you have good language skill, you will always enjoy as the first entertainment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that you can multiply enjoy culture as you can communicate with various people and you can get more ideas from learning English. How wonderful your life and how do you can large your opinion about English? Well, for the most significant point, I'm going to tell you English can change the entire future by opening new careers. Effective communication may help your company climbing the career ladder. Also, English in education type is also needed because many universities, both at home and abroad, include a requirement English proficiency such as IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC as requirement score to be the student at the university. Therefore, I do really claim that English is a need today to gain bright future and to face with this modern era. Last but not least, all in all, ladies and gentlemen, building bright future by learning English is becoming a crucial aspect to achieve the success. It can be concluded that the longer there will be more challenges for humans who live in the 21st century, especially for young people from education to find a job. Also, if you have good English language skill, you will have more decent living and better qualities. Well, in the end of my speech, I'm gonna say to you, as young generation, as a learner in this, don't you ever limit your challenge, but challenge your limit. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not only about finding yourself, but it's about creating yourself. If you nothing change, but nothing will change tomorrow. Maybe that's all from me. And the last I say, see you.
The Honorable, for the judges and the audience whom I love. Let's say thanks to our God Allah who have given us some mercy and blessing until we can gather together in this beautiful day. Secondly, salawat and salam always be given to our Prophet Muhammad who has brought us from the darkness to brightness, from the stupid era to cleverness, namely Islamic religion. And I would like to say thanks to the master of ceremony who have give time to speech in front of the audience, ladies and gentlemen. In this beautiful day, let me deliver my speech on the title of Empowering Global Citizen Student with English. In an increasingly interconnected world, proficiency in the English language is not just an asset, but a necessity for students aiming to become global citizens. English serves as a lingua franca, bridging culture and facilitating communication across board. Its open door to international opportunities, whether in education, career, or deployments. As students, we must recognize the transformative power of English in our life and its role in shaping us into responsible global citizens. Firstly, English empowers us to access a wealth of knowledge. It is the language of academic research, scientific journals, and countless educational research. By mastering English, we can tap into a vast, voice of information, enabling us to contribute meaningful to global dialogue on pressing issues such as climate change, public health, and human rights. Secondly, English enhance our employability on a global scale in today's job market. Many multinational companies require English proficiency as a prerequisite. Being able to communicate effectively in English not only broadens our career opinion, but also allow us to collaborate with diverse teams from different corners of the world, fostering a global mindset. Furthermore, English facilitates cross-cultural understanding. It enables us to engage with people from various backgrounds and perspectives, fostering empathy and tolerance by breaking down language barriers. we can promote international cooperation and build bridges of understanding in an increasingly interconnected world. To empower global citizen students with English, we must invest in quality language education. This includes providing access to well-trained teachers, immersive language programs, and research that cater to diverse learning styles. Moreover, it requires fostering a culture of language learning where students are encouraged to embrace the language as a tool for personal growth and global engagement. In conclusion, empowering global citizen students with English is not just a goal but a necessity in our rapidly changing world. English proficiency equips us with the tool to access knowledge, enhance our employability, and promote cross-cultural understanding. It is our responsibility as students to recognize the value of English and actively pursue the skill needed to become effective global citizens. Together, we can build a brighter future, one empowered by the language that unites us all. Everyone, that's all what I can say for this time. Thank you very much for your nice attention. I'm Agnia Zalfai Alaina. Maybe that's all from me, and let's say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a world where language isn't just a means of communication, but a bridge that unites us on a global scale. In a world that is more interconnected than ever before, language serves as a gateway to understanding, collaboration, and shared experiences. While there are thousands of languages spoken across the globe, one language stands out as a powerful bridge that unites people from diverse backgrounds and cultures: English. However, it is important to recognize that English is more than just a language. It's a medium that transcends borders, facilitating international connections and empowering individuals, particularly the younger generation, to engage with the world in unique and transformative ways. Today, we delve into the significance of this transformation and its impact on the most dynamic and interconnected generation of our time, Generation Z. Empowering Generation Z or Gen Z is a mission that holds great promise. They have witnessed the rapid globalization, the digital revolution, and the emergence of English as the world's lingua franca. They are digital natives fluent not only in the language of technology, but also in the language that unites nations, English. But what potential does Gen Z hold when equipped with the language and tools to connect and collaborate on a global scale? And how can we harness the power of English and the creativity of Gen Z to inspire a future where global connectivity and mutual understanding thrive? Well, before I dive more into the topic, let me introduce myself. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable judges and all respected audiences. My name is Ananda Wiratama from Mandua, Kota. In this very pleasant opportunity, I would like to deliver my speech about English is not just a language, it's a medium to internationally connect. English has changed and now allows people from different cultures to understand and work with each other more than ever before. This change is happening because of Generation Z, a group of young people who grow up in a world where English is important for talking to others. Gen Z doesn't see borders as limits. They can adapt, come up with new ideas, and understand the world as a whole. This generation is really good with technology. They don't just use technology, they make things, organize stuff, and come up with new ideas. Whether it's making and sharing things on social media, working with people from different countries and projects, or speaking up for important causes. Gen Z is leading the way. Their ability to use technology to connect with people who think like them worldwide shows how much they can do. I've had the chance to experience how language can serve as a bridge for international connections through platforms like OMTV. These platforms have allowed me to engage with people from all over the world, despite our different native languages. English become the common ground for us to communicate, understand each other's cultures, and collaborate on various topics. It's truly remarkable how language, especially English, can bring individuals from diverse backgrounds together in this interconnected world. Now the question is, how can we harness the transformative power of English as a medium for global connectivity and gain this immense creativity? The answer lies in recognizing the unique strengths of this generation and supporting their initiatives. Firstly, we must foster platforms and programs that encourage Gen Z to channel their creative energy into projects with global significance. These initiatives should use English as a means of communication, breaking down language barriers and facilitating collaboration with peers from diverse backgrounds. Secondly, we must support education that emphasizes not just linguistic proficiency, but also global citizenship. English as the international language should be taught in a way that encourages critical thinking, cultural empathy, and intercultural communication skills. Lastly, we should celebrate and amplify the voices of Gen Z, recognizing that they are the architects of the future. By providing opportunities for them to lead and advocate on a global stage, we empower them to be the change makers who bridge cultural divides, address global challenges, and inspire unity. Ladies and gentlemen, the transformation where English is not just a language, it's a medium to internationally connect, is a beacon of hope. Generation Z's potential is boundless, and their creativity knows no limits. With English as their tool, they can connect, collaborate, and lead on a global stage, working toward a future where understanding and unity thrive. Good, a Greek philosopher, have ever said, knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. And remember, language indicates nation. And don't forget, English is a bridge for the future. I am Ananda Wiratama from Mandua, Guatemala. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable judges, and all the audiences. My name is Nindi, and I'm from First Senior High School, Malang. And today, I want to invite you all to explore why English has become a universal language and how it impact has on our world, especially in education. My mom once said, English is very important for your bright future. She believed that mastering the English would open up numerous opportunities for success and personal growth. So I was learning, and learning. Every time I was my favorite adults on YouTube, I have a keen interest in studying English. Eventually, I imagined how to interact with them, how to interact with people from different countries that have a different language with me. Of course, communication will be better if everyone speaks the same language. As we know, we use English in international conversation. But have you ever wondered why English has become a universal language? Why not another language? There are so many languages in this world like Indonesian, Arabian, Korean, Japanese, and other. Ladies and gentlemen, English today is the third most communicative language in the world after Mandarin and Spanish. As of 2022, there are about 373 million native English speakers. Millions more are taking English as second or third language. Language experts argue that simplicity of English is the main reason for it becoming a global language. Okay, let's compare English and Mandarin. As we know, Many people struggle when learn Mandarin. One thing that makes Mandarin is hard to learn because Chinese pinyin tones that can change the meaning of words. But the pronunciation of English is not as complicated as other language. English has comparatively a simple grammar. It's been more easily recognizable and learnable by people. So, most people are familiar with this language. Even without studying, Indonesian people already know English words. In the 16th century, English began to gain recognition in education, especially in England. English started to take on a more significant role in education worldwide. Modern education began to develop, and English became the main language in school curriculum. Learning English will allow you to communicate with other people from different countries. Nowadays, a lot of professors and students from the world's top university using English. Even looking for scholarship and student exchange requires professional skills. Ladies and gentlemen, while studying, have you ever seen a word that difficult to understand in a science book or a journal? Roughly 80% of the journals are published in English. So, as students, we are tied to English, especially in science and technology. We've already known that English has become a global language in various aspects of life. Therefore, it's important to understand why the teaching of English has in various countries has a significant impact on education and learning systems. English is a jack of all trades. Being able to speak English is same as opening a window of knowledge. Integrating English into the education curriculum is not just about learning language proficiency. It's about preparing individuals to preparing individuals to thrive into a global world. However, not every student, not every student has equal access to quality English education. The inequality is particularly evident in underdeveloped regions. So I hope you can become a superheroes with tackle this inequality. In this era, I often come across small issues in my surrounding environment. Sometimes someone mispronounces a sentence in English and becomes the subject of laughter. This is what makes a person lose self-confidence and makes the person embrace to speak language in front of people again. To get rid of the feeling that you're the best here, just appreciate your friends. Trust me, English is a fun and interesting language to learn. You can even search on how to speak English on the internet. And trust my mom, English, learning English will give you a good impact on your future and your bright future for your future job interviews, or you'll be able to travel around the world. You never know. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for me to close my speech about English as the same like English as the universal language. I hope this speech will give you a new lesson and motivate you in studying English. Thank you for exploring this topic with me today. And in the end, trust the process and with passion and determination, we can achieve greater things. Have a nice day, everyone.
honorable audiences, dear my friend who participate in this speech contest, my loving brothers and sisters. First of all praises to God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who give us this life and get us as always. Secondly, salawat and salam must be given Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his family, friends, and the follower. I'm Atta Auna from Asa'idiyah Senior High School. Today I'd like to deliver my speech about how can you be good at many languages? Maybe we haven't seen people who can speak many languages. Surely, most of us are also English because we imagine how could it be if we could be like them. We could be able to watch Harry Potter without any subtitles or even Avenger movie without any subtitles also. But every time we want to learn a new language, it's not uncommon for us to just need a medicine to be an obstacle. So, how difficult is it to learn a new language? Is it true that we are already late and can no longer learn many languages? The answer is, of course, you can. In fact, most of those who are good at many languages learning it when they are adults. Indeed, babies are better at learning language because their brains are still more flexible. But it's different with babies. We know how to learn. If that's the case, how do we learn many language? First, of course, you have to be diligent. Just like muscles, our brain will become stronger the more often we practice. And practicing chit-chat with other people will also be very useful. Yes, chatting using a foreign language is much more effective than chatting about foreign language. This is because language is not short in one place, but is split to many parts of the brain. Like exercise, it's not funny if you don't practice slowly and our muscle become one side. So, the more often we use it in various situations, the more our brain will get used to language. Apart from being diligent, we also have to give this language life through memory and experience. For example, we often have difficult memorizing vocabulary. However, there are some parts that we always remember because of funny, enjoyable, or even embarrassing experiences. However, this is okay because the more mistakes there are, the more things that we can remember. Maybe this experience actually make us feel inferior because we are afraid of making mistakes, especially when talking to people who only know a foreign language. If that is the case, we have to change our perspective on the language that we learn. Imagine, language is not an art that we have to master, but a thought, which we have to use to communicate because it's useless if we are good at it the person we are talking doesn't understand. Being able to speak more than one language has many benefits. Apart from chatting, we knowing many languages can also make us good at multitasking. It can even delay brain disease, Alzheimer. And of course, our language is our window to learn about world culture. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my speech. I hope we have all learned something new from it and enjoy it. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The honorable judges, respectable to all audiences and everyone here today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I want to say thank you very much to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and the God's mercy and the guidance until I came to be here without any troubles and obstacles. Secondly, my salat and salam always be given to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who has guided us from the darkness to the brightness, namely Islamic religion. Okay, Atika Xenda Firdausi Allah, I'm from Mandua, Kota Probolinggo. I'm standing up here. I'd like to tell you about my little speech on the title, Teaching English to Generation Z, Challenges and Opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, teachers, and lecturers, In this case, those of English may have been familiar with teaching to millennials, and abundant research studies have been done, and unlimited papers on the topic have been written. However, the world is now dominated by the next generation with different characteristics and way of thinking, the what so-called Generation Z. Therefore, this paper aims to provide insight to English language teachers and lecturers into the potential challenges and opportunities of teaching English to Generation Z. Also, referred as next generation, again, and post-millennial generation, the name itself refers to those who were born in the year 1996, a generation that arrives after millennial. Being born in this era, they have unique characteristics which are different from their predecessor, which if used properly, can create meaningful teaching and learning process. However, not all teachers and lecturers seem to take this into account. The inability to adjust to the condition is a serious disadvantage that may lead to cases where their English classes do not meet their expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, this phenomenon then raises the question, what challenges might teachers and lecturers who teach Generation Z face in their English classes? What opportunities can English teachers and lecturers take advantages of to make the teaching and learning process fun yet meaningful to them? The answer to the first questions, together with alternative solutions to the latter, are elaborated in the following sections. According to Haradan 2018, every research has to comprise an explicit, disciplined, systematic, planned, ordered, public approach to find out most appropriate result. To obtain data, this study employed a qualitative approach, namely an observation of 100 undergraduate students who belong to Generation Z. This study was covered in English class for half semester. The data were then analyzed and reported qualitatively. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, the results of this study are elaborated as follows. First, Generation Z have shorter focus span. This might be an effect of their massive exposure to learning, webinars, smartboard, as well as smartphones. Second, they were born and grown up with new technology and easy access to the internet that differs them from the previous generation of students. In this difficult time, caused by the pandemic, unlike their teachers or lecturers that find it challenging to open the application to start online classes or to upload materials to online storage, they might experience no difficulties in operating their gadgets to join the classes and access materials online. Third, it is unsafe to say that for this generation, English is almost second language for them, since they encounter it almost every day. Songs they listen to, internet contents they enjoy on daily basis, and social media status they post are in English. It is evident that the newest generation, Generation Z, possesses unique characteristics that make them different from another generation. Some characteristics that identify them are having shorter attention span, digitally advanced, loving innovations, and familiar with English. This uniqueness requires acceptance and understanding of English teachers and lecturers if they want to make the teaching and learning meaningful. Okay, that's all I can deliver in this golden opportunity. Thanks for nice attention. And the last I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Why English is the bridge to the world? Why do you think that English is an international language? Let me tell you my experience. I have a friend and she is from Morocco. We've been 2 years. We usually exchange stories, jokes around, and learn foreign language like French, even though it's only limited on social media. This happened because I can't speak English. If I can't speak English, it's impossible to have foreigners friend, right? That means that English is the bridge between Indonesia and Morocco. Ladies and gentlemen,
Today, English is an international language and widely used in the world. For example, in entertainment industry, podcast series, Netflix series, newspapers, movies, and many other. In addition, most equipment uses English as a medium to give instructions, such as computers, cell phone, and other devices. Foreign business are also increasing. It needs employees that able speak English. If you want to increase your value and compete with other employees, you have to be able to speak English. Based on the data, more than a quarter of the world's population speaks English, which means 1.6 billion people understand and relate to this language. One simple thing that we can do, let's start from our own environment. For example, in my school, there is an ECC, English Conversation Club, that aims to make us practice speaking English. Ladies and gentlemen, I have several tips for you if you want to improve your English. First, join an English club. Second, build a relationship with all people around the world. Next, try and practicing it in the daily life. Make it as a habit, even if you try it only in the front of the mirror. Because learning language without practicing is useless. So, which one you want to choose? Being an active learner or the passive one? The choice is in your hands. Thank you. I'm Sal Naviatasha from Senior High School 1 Pacet, Mojokerto.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clarissa is my name. I attend SMA N5 Malang as a high school student. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about diversity and universal language on this marvelous day. The foundation of human civilization and communication is language. It is the vehicle by which we communicate our ideas, feelings, and thoughts. Language diversity may be a hurdle as well as a monument to the complex tapestry of human civilization. When language separates us, miscommunications, disputes, and lost changes occur. People can become more understanding and united by using a universal language as a bridge. In this talk, I'd like to talk about the relevance of English as a universal language, a subject that is becoming more and more significant in our globalized society. English has become the universal language, allowing people to communicate effectively across cultural barriers. We will discuss the cases of English dominance, how it affects global communication, and its future ramifications in this address. English is the language of international communication. It serves as a bridge for people from diverse linguistic backgrounds to connect and understand each other. In the fields of business, science, technology, and diplomacy, English is the primary means of communication. This universal accessibility facilitates global collaboration and knowledge sharing. Furthermore, English is the key to accessing a wealth of information and resources on the internet. A significant portion of online content is in English, making it easier for individuals to educate themselves, stay informed, and stay connected with the world. English proficiency can open doors to various opportunities, from better job prospects to academic advancements. As I wrap up my remarks for today, let us never forget that language is a tool that enables us to connect and communicate with people all over the world. With all of its peculiarities and quirks, English has evolved into a universal tongue that promotes communication across cultural boundaries and fosters cooperation. But we must never forget that there are other valuable languages in the world besides English, and we should always respect and encourage linguistic diversity. I am grateful that you were able to hear my speech today, as we honor and promote the linguistic diversity that contributes so much to the richness of this world. Let us continue to keep our connection to the outside world through the use of English. By working together, we can strengthen the links connecting people around the world and create a more accepting and understanding environment for everybody. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us His mercies and blessing. It is because of Him we are all gathered here today. Salawat and salam always be delivered to Prophet Muhammad SAW, who has guided us from the darkness to the bright era that we live in today. English is commonly spoken in the Western countries such as United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and island country in the Caribbean Sea and Pacific Ocean. And you know what, guys? English is also the official language in India, Philippines, and Singapore. Dear all of my lovely audiences, let me start with me. I am as a student, and all of us have already known that English is very important for us to do it is as a universal language. As a quick introduction, I am Davina Alaya from Manguan Pasuruan. In this beautiful moment, I would like to deliver my speech entitled English as a Universal Language. So, ladies and gentlemen, did you know why does English become a universal language? Okay, let's talk about it. English can use for any kind of sectors like education, economic, politics, and social. In education fields, of course, learning English is very important because by learning English well, we can access the less information and expand knowledge in various fields. It is not doubt anymore that almost all of the knowledge sources are in English. And one that we must pass if we want to continue our study higher is also what is called by TOEFL test. It is such kind of which to measure our ability in English. And you know, nowadays, English language education has been widely spread on the internet and furthermore, it makes it easier for those who want to learn English. The ability to communicate by using English in the academic sector is also no less important. Being good at English in the economic sector can improve the Indonesian economy to be able to dominate the world market and making it easier to global business. Dear my brothers and sisters, did you know if we can speak English fluently, automatically you will certainly feel more confident when talking to foreigners. And of course, this also increases your chance of making friends with other people around the world easily and fast. So, my lovely audiences, learning English is indeed very important for us to communicate or interact in any kind of sectors. But remember our national language. Indonesia is also important. Like a businessman from United States, Warren Buffett said, the more you learn, the more you earn. It means that you have to keep learning. If you learn much, logically, you will know much. If you want to get something you want, you must learn more. In order that, you will get everything you want to. Finally, I can say, mastering English is a must. So keep trying, don't give up until you can. Do your best to reach your dreams. Well, that's all about my speech. I hope my speech will give you information and knowledge how important English is. Thank you so much for your nice attention. I'm sorry if I make a mistake, and as I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Indonesia is my home, known for diversity in ethnicity, religion, language, and culture, made me feel proud to be part of it. Almost every ethnic group in Indonesia has its own regional language. According to Ethnologue, there is about 715 regional languages in Indonesia. The uniqueness of our country that I've never found in any other nation. I personally can speak 3 languages, Melayu of Kalimantan, Melayu of Loloan, and also Indonesian language. Mastering these 3 languages makes me feel like I am the most patriotic person towards Indonesia. This pride made me forget that the world is constantly evolving and the demands of times are changing. While other people rushing to learn foreign language, I ended up criticizing them and thinking that they don't love their own nation. But in the end, I experienced hate turns into love. Now I'm standing in front of you, talking with the language that I used to hate. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable all of the judges and audiences, ladies and gentlemen. In this wonderful occasion, I would like to deliver my speech entitled, Speaking Global, Staying Local. Ladies and gentlemen, at first I was very confident about my decision to not learn a foreign language. I considered those who learned it were the people who didn't love their own nation. It is because I saw a lot of Indonesian culture being replaced by an external influence, and these things made me worried. So I decided to cut off the access to other countries' language and also culture. At first, I thought this was a form of respect to my own culture. But I was wrong. It turns out that determined to make Indonesian language known globally is the real form of respect to our own culture. Ladies and gentlemen, once I had the opportunity to visit a cultural graphic design competition in Indonesia. I was delighted to see a lot of Indonesian culture being exhibited and also to see the young generation spirit in introducing our culture. But there is something happened there. When I was visiting one of the booths there, I noticed that there is a foreign visitor captivated by our culture. It's a very significant ways that Indonesian culture can capture the heart of foreign visitor. But we couldn't take this opportunity to explain our culture because I found that the booth attendant couldn't explain anything about our culture because she cannot speak English. And then the booth attendant looked at me and asked for help. But sadly, the booth attendant met the old version of myself who used to hate English. In the end, we couldn't explain anything to the foreign visitor. Ladies and gentlemen, this incident made me reconsider about my decision to not learn a foreign language. It never crossed my mind that English could be the biggest support system for us to introduce our culture. Because to do that, we need to communicate with each other. Then, if we don't have any foreign language skill, how can we introduce the culture that we have? Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing is you should not have a wrong mindset about English like I did before. Now let's imagine language as a key to open a door with a different world inside. But one key can only open one door. But there is a special key amongst the other, and that is English. We can open a lot of opportunities with English. It is because English is the most spoken language right now. It's a very common thing for us to see Indonesian language talking with the Thailand language in English. It's not a strange thing for us to see Korean people talking with Japanese people in English. This shows the significant influence of English in our daily life and also in our social life. Then, now let's imagine how about English can help us to introduce our culture to the world? Ladies and gentlemen, never underestimate the power of art and also culture. Fall in love in the first sight. It is how art and also culture moves the heart of people. We can earn a lot of things from here. Like we can attract tourists and also build an economic and also political relationship with other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the world should already see Indonesia in its entirety not only just because of its corruption, not only just because the law of literacy, but also with the beauty, tolerance, friendliness, and also peace. And this is our task as the next generation of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, Gen Z innovation and also creativity is greatly needed for our country. One simple example is berkain trends, which was also implemented in my school last month. From these trends, people gain much confidence to wear a traditional clothes in public spaces. Now let's imagine if we could take this trend globally, there will be a lot of people admire and also realize the beauty of our culture. So ladies and gentlemen, be ready to bring Indonesia to its glory. And now, let's start it from ourselves. Because if it is not you, then who else? If it is not us, then who else? And last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. With all respect to the honorable judges, to all of the audiences, and my friends whom I love so much. Good morning, everyone. First of all, let us say thanks to Allah the Almighty, who has been giving us blessing and guidance so that we can gather in this great opportunity. Salawat and salam may be upon to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to the morning light. Before I deliver my speech, let me introduce myself. I am Exista Alfia Muntas from Mansang Malang, and in this opportunity, I would like to tell you about English as an international language and the use of artificial intelligence to learn English. My dear audiences, talking about English as an international language becomes a common topic to discuss. I personally think that there are two reasons why English is called as international language. First, the composition of English user has shifted tremendously. According to the study of Gillen McKay 2002, the number of the so-called non-native speakers of English has reached 3 times the number of native speakers. This has brought English into its new role as a global currency. Second, due to the huge amount of non-native speakers of English, nowadays we can find other varieties of English are developed. Not only British and American English, but there are other varieties that use English as a consequence of globalization. Canadian and Australian English counted as third and fourth when it comes to the number of native speakers. Other native speaker varieties that are mentioned here are South African English, New Zealand English, as well as some Asian varieties. For example, Singapore. So, English is globally developed. Later, as today's youth, we are called as Generation Z. We are known as digital natives because we were born in the midst of technological advances in disruption. A massive change that changes all social systems. The fourth industrial revolution in the 4.0 era, where everyday life is increasingly attached to artificial intelligence, robots, nanotechnology, quantum computers, biotechnology, 3D printings, and unmanned vehicles such as drones. If in the past, the youth struggled for independence, then what youth are facing now is how to develop innovation with artificial intelligence wisely. This is certainly a challenge for Generation Z, who has a role as the key to the nation's success. Yes, once again, that in this modern era, we cannot be separated from artificial intelligence. And as a student, I would like to recommend you to utilize some kind of artificial intelligence to learn English. As what I have said before, English is an international language, and it is a must for modern youth to master it. It is not only a matter to learn English with your teacher at school, but also about how we learn English independently at home or with our friends. In my view, there are many kinds of artificial intelligence that you can use to learn English. For example, Duolingo, ChatGPT, YouTube, Google Translator, Grammarly, small talk to me, and many more. The only thing that we need is we have to raise our spirit to learn and get the best advantage by using it. Moreover, I'd like to propose some ideas about learning English with artificial intelligence. First, just take a few time every day to practice English with your friends. 10 until 15 minutes during the break is enough to practice English with your friends by using artificial intelligence. Second, do not hesitate to ask your English teacher if you need help or advice in learning English. The last one is for the teacher. I think not only the student, but nowadays, teachers should learn, update, and be familiar with artificial intelligence. My dear audiences, finally, like the spirit that was spread by Insinyur Soekarno, our first president, he once said, "Give me 10 youth, then I'll shape the world." I think this shows us that youth have an important role in the progress of the country by making and learning about innovation. So let's learn English with the innovation of artificial intelligence. I'd like to motivate all of the youth to never stop learning. Let's take the advantage of this digital era to learn English. Because once again, English is an international language that we have to master. Hopefully by learning English, we can get the benefit for ourselves and also for our surroundings. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. I do apologize for every single mistake I've made. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For thousands of years, we have lived on Earth with many diversities, the different ethnics, culture, religion, as well as languages. However, from the many languages that exist in the world, English is the most often used language in the world. Now the question is, why is English now chosen as the universal language and not the others? Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let us all thank our God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that has given us grace so that we can meet today in the best of our health. Second of all, salawat and salam be praised to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that has brought us from the time of darkness to a much brighter time. Today, in this beautiful day, I, Al-Farata Rashid Ismail, would want to deliver a not very long speech based on the theme given, English as the universal language. Friends and folks, we have lived on Earth for many years, and within that time, there are a lot of changes that had happened. We humans started to socialize with each other, and we obviously need a negotiator to be able to interact. That's why we need something called language. According to the World Atlas of Languages Methodology, there are around 8,000 languages, spoken or signed, documented by the governments, public institutions, and academic communities. And out of those, around 7,000 languages are still in use. But the thing is, why is language very important for us all? As I said before, language is something that people use to communicate with one another, to build relationship, as well as creating a sense of community. However, not everyone can understand each of the language from across the world. That's why we have a universal language, to be able to remove the barriers, to be able to communicate without having to be confused on what each other are saying. And on top of that, to support the economic growth. That's why we chose English as our universal language. But friends, you would have thought, why does it need to be English though? And why is English very well known? Well, because of this universality was that English first began to spread during the 16th century by the British Empire, and was strongly reinforced by USA world domination in economic, political, as well as military aspects. Besides, English is one of the simplest and easiest language in the world. And we know that right now in Indonesia, kids and adults often use English in their everyday life. Am I right? And do you know that there are a lot of advantages that we get if we can master English? One of them is that we can get any information that we are interested in. When we master English, we can get any information without having any difficulties because of course there is no language barrier. The second advantage that we can get is that we can have big opportunities to take part to participate in international groups or forums. One of the benefits of mastering English is that we are able to get an opportunity to take part in any international forums. And with that language skill, we are able to follow the development of technologies, politics, culture, and many more. The next advantages that we might have is that we might get scholarship opportunities. And that's right, this is what many high schoolers often rush for. A lot of high school study and master English for this one specific reason. Of course, getting a scholarship is what everyone wants, to get a higher education without having to think the waste of education costs. However, some scholarship has some requirement on passing an English test. And for the one who able to master English, it will be very easy for them. Last but not least, you'll get a very high chance of getting a job. And the point of this is that we are able to find a job that maybe other people don't usually do with English, and chances of getting that are very high. For example, I don't have any other skill except for English. At least I can work as an English teacher or maybe open up a private lesson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, mastering English, which is now a universal language, is quite needed for us all. It's not just for mere fun or entertainment, but to be able to communicate with all kinds of people from across the world, for education, and maybe determine our future. Nobody knows, right? That's why we need to also encourage our friends to try and learn English as well. Because in every corner of the world, you would always find a thing called English. And I have one of my favorite quotes from Ludwig Wittgenstein that I want to share to you all. It's that the limit of our language are the limits of our world. In a nutshell, if you want to have the universe in your mind, then master the universal language. Well, maybe that's all I can deliver for today. I would like to apologize for any mistakes in my words or my action. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for listening to me. See you later. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
When I was a child, I wanted to learn a language that would allow me to interact with people all over the world. I was interested with English because I almost always find this language in my daily habits, like playing games, watching television, reading, and anything else, which sometimes make us a little confused, even though as we know together. English has become our compulsory subject at school that should be mastered by every student to upgrade knowledge and build bright future way. Well, viewers, I am Fadil Dwi Prastyo. I stand here to talk it deeply. So let me bring you to my speech entitled Upgrading Quality by Learning English. The Honorable ladies and gentlemen, historically, England had largest colonial territories which indirectly made people to communicate with English in their daily life. As the time goes by, English has influenced into all aspects of life, such as education, technology, information, economic, business, and probably politics. Those all have big influence on world civilization. Therefore, in 18th century, English was being an international language with used as world communication methods. Nowadays, based on Didik.com, the number of English speakers are 1.12 billion. As international language, English has made the scientists to write their articles also innovation with English. That makes us must understand English to access a lot of these knowledges. Ironically, learning English is being less interesting. That makes us feel difficult to master it. Happy viewers, basically, in the basic of foreign language learning, there are 4 basic skills. Those are listening, speaking, perhaps reading and writing. Now, seeing the world modernization, the upcoming of technology have given us a chance to learn English virtually. But it doesn't really give big aspect in English learning, because in my mind, language is not only science, but it is a habit that must be demonstrable in daily life to increase vocab memory, to improve pronunciation, also intonation. Viewers, always believe in word that practice makes us perfect. So, in my point of view, ladies and gentlemen, mastering English can open up our global knowledge, as English being the instruments to transfer knowledge and information. Let us imagine. Imagine how many articles, books, also global information that have written by using English. Even saying the world civilization, English has big role toward knowledge development. It becomes the instrument of global knowledge that unite people. However, English is a way to find another way that will get us better. As international language, English understanding has become most important factor to connect people, even country. Even English doesn't ensure our future success, but it's the one that we need to launch our quality in competing international level. Well, some facts around us has proven how important is English. To access social media, to understand international speech even in almost every daily product. We always find English as it is media to tell about the things they would like to inform. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen of the viewers, learning English is being more difficult after we cannot practice it. Because we are learning language, so we need so much in practice. As my experience, I begin it with finding community that give platform to practice. So it's being an option for us after we learn English in class. We can find out friends who respond us in practice in speaking and building our English environment. Well, last but not least in my speech, ladies and gentlemen, learning will never be perfect with no mistaken. But when we get a mistake, it is proof that we are learning more. Nobody which is impossible in mastering English. I believe just make it habit, we can master it. Because today, there is no stupidity, it's just our laziness. Well, that's all my speech that I can deliver to you all. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Thank you very much for the time given. Last, I would like to say, see you and thank you.
Your Excellency the judges, committee and viewers, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate, and praise be to God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, prayers and peace be upon our Master, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us to choose the best choice of the way life, namely Islam. Thanks to our God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been showering countless blessings to us, so we can all be here in good and happy situation. Good morning, everyone. I'm Fatima Hamid, and today I'm really excited to break down about how English changed my life. So, when I was in my first year of junior high school, I just felt motivated to learn English. But I never expected myself to be able to give a speech in English in front of all of you here. Then, how did I learn? Why am I suddenly so interested in learning it? Also, all the similar questions that I would get. And I answered it simply. Because we need it. Yeah, it just makes sense because we know that English is a universal language, isn't it? Dear viewers, when you realize that it is important for us to learn English, as time goes by, you will start to find your passion. But how? Of course, it will come naturally to you. You just need to start realizing the importance of it. And what you need to know is that we need to make good changes. We need to grow, and we need to improve our skills as human beings, right? And I found it that there have been numerous studies that show the many cognitive benefits gained from learning another language. These benefits can include better focus and concentration, memory improvement, longer attention span, and increased listening skills. But actually, there are more benefits you can gain from learning English. And I'd like to tell you one by one. The first and foremost is that English is enabled to transfer knowledge. As we know that in today's world of the information superhighway, English has carried many ideas, information, concepts, and various literatures from root to specific explanations. And also the many best-selling books in the world such as Harry Potter, Atomic Habits, The Art of Clear Thinking. Oh, have you read these books before? Well, because these books are all in English. Therefore, when we are able to master English, we have more access to these ideas. In addition to access to knowledge, we can also access connections with other people. With more connections we have, our minds will be more open and can understand other people's perspective. Also, practicing English is a great way to overcome your insecurities and make it easier for you to talk to people. That's why you will become more confident when you are able to speak in English. Respectable viewers, and last but not least, it can advance your professional and career life. Because English is very essential to get a good job and a better income. Multinational business organizations and many international companies ask for people who have good knowledge of English. Even job advertisement in the local market also require people who know English. So, now you see, guys, why I said you need to learn English. Then, are you going to miss these good opportunities now? Of course not. Dear viewers, what we can gain from this? Once we know the good opportunities that come with learning English, we start moving towards them. For a wider insight, more connections, and a better career, that's how English can truly change our lives. So, what I would like you to do is reflect on what we've learned today, and I want to see how English can also change your life. Well, I think that's all what I can deliver to you. I sincerely apologize if I have any mistakes. Thank you so much for your kind attention. And last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The China said Ni Hao, and Christian said Shalom, and the Buddhist said Om Swastiastu. But because I am Muslim, let me start with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? Me, I am fine. Before of all, introduce me. My name is Finias Nazalia and I am the delegation of LPBA Murjani. Do you know guys, I'm really proud of myself because during 17 years, I have passed many tragedies and many problems that appear on my life. It becomes a lesson for me and it motivates me to be who I am today. Now, I will tell you a little story of my life. When I was a child, I want to travel around the world, but I have a little anxiety about traveling to a new country where I cannot speak the language. By and by, I try to leave my comfort condition. I studied English and do you know, it was really difficult for me because I was an English learner. But I believe that I can learn English as well as possible, even if it has to do. Now, I can see the result where I can stay in front of you all right now and be who I am today. But guys, don't you ever question yourselves why do many people prefer learning English than other languages? It was my question, or maybe it is your question. Due to the fact today, English is becoming universal language where many countries and many people are using English to have communication in the daily activity. So, my question is, why does English become universal language? Ironically, guys, many students do not interest to learn about English more. English learner in Indonesia is getting lower annually. So, To shorten the time, let's open your ear and listen what I am going to talk about. Now, let me cover my simple speech and title is The Cause of Students' Degradation in Learning English as Universal Language. Basically, ladies and gentlemen and respectable judges, English is generally used in America, Britain, Canada, Australia, etc. There are 360 million people who speak English natively, with estimated for about 1.5 million people, or 20% of world population. English is becoming the second native language in 70 countries, and English-speaking countries are responsible for about 40%. Because English is the easiest language to learn, to understand, and to be spoken by many people. As it is world media language, the language of cinema, television, pop music, and computer world. Well guys, it's just a little background of English as universal language. So, back to my question. Why does English become universal language? Firstly, let's back to the 16th century, where the colonialism of British Empire spread out quickly. It becomes one of factors of English to be universal language. According to Ainul Yakin in Multicultural Science states that in British colonialism era, English is commonly used to discuss about economic, political, and military aspects. Besides, using English as universal language creates new characteristics of English, such as Pidgin English and Creole English. The second is international cooperation. By the development of era, many countries are having international cooperation to develop the country. As universal language, English is people to communicate and interact each other. Also, it becomes one of reasons in developing several aspects, such as economy and international cooperation. In our country, that is Indonesia, English has been legalized to be one of compulsory subjects for junior high school and senior high school students. By the aim is to educate students in communicating the language, either oral or written aspect. Ironically, ladies and gentlemen and respectable judges, many students do not interest to learn about English more. It caused by the limitation of literacy and the source of study, and many students are less in having motivation in learning English. The survey from AF English Proficiency Index or FAP on 2019 showed English learner in Indonesia is getting decreased for about 1.50%. It caused by students' proclivity in learning English is getting lower. Whereas motivating students is important to raise students' enthusiasm and to increase students' fluency in speaking English. On the other hand, the limitation of digital literacy impacts students' development as English learners. Therefore, students and teachers should have good communication to solve the decline of learning English, such as giving motivation or facility for students. By the aim is to ease and to motivate students in learning English. Also, in this digitalist era, when many technologies are getting developed, government should have contribution in providing internet or other tools for students to have literacy and the source of study, in order the student will not be left behind by the development of it. Well guys, maybe that's all what I can deliver in this golden opportunity. Thanks for your nice attention, and last I say, see you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable, the juries, respectable, the committees, and all audiences in happiness. Good afternoon. First of all, let's thank God the Almighty, the Lord of the world, the creator of everything in the universe, who has given us His mercies and blessings without stopping days to days, hours to hours, even seconds to seconds. Secondly, may peace and blessing always be delivered to the glorious person Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us from the stupidity to the cleverness, till we can know which one's wrong is and which one's right is. Allow dances in happiness. When I stayed on the second floor of my house, I opened my window and looked at the estate of my neighbor consisting of many flowers. In another place, I saw a family who told the children English. And for a few minutes after that, I spent to think of what I had seen. The longer I thought of that, the more I questioned myself. Then I found the answer of what made me difficult to learn English. It was because I did not learn English in early age. So from story I have told you, I, Viko Hidayat, interest to deliver my speech by the title, The Implementation of English Language in Early Age. Allow dances in happiness. From period to period, humans still keep the same as a social creature who interact one another. On the other hand, they do not realize about a significant thing in that interaction. That's language. Language is a tool to communicate or to interact with another person, where it will always be needed in our life. In addition, language is the first education we have learned. Meanwhile, every year, it gets upgrading, and most of the upgradings are either in vocabulary or structure. So that English is very significant to be learned in early age, for the reason that it is international or universal language, and also including one of languages which has many vocabularies. Allow dances in happiness. From time to time, humans will pass many phases of development, and one of them is the latency phase. According to Sigmund Freud, eminent psychology, in the book of personality development at 19 and 20, latency phase is the phase of someone who is 5 to 12 years old. In this phase, they will easily learn something, for the reason that this phase is the phase of their intellectual development and their presence. As we know, English is a theoretical lesson that we can study hours to hours listening in the class. English is practical skill we must custom. Therefore, it makes English very difficult for some people to learn. Moreover, there comes the problem. Some people learn English in the age of 10 to 20 years old. In that age, people can be unstable, that they will have many things come by their mind. So that it must be studied in the early age, especially in latency phase, where in this phase, people can see something easily. For the reason that this phase is the brain's development phase. And here, there are two ways we can apply. Number one, we as the parents have to make mindset to our children that English language is very important, which will facilitate us to continue our education to the superior level. Number two, we can make a game which has connection with English, in order that we can stimulate our mind and their mindset that learning English is easy and fun. So let's apply those ways in educating our children, as they, our children, are the hope of ours. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as what I usually deliver my speech with a story, so let me tell you a story when I was 7 years old. I used to live with friends coming from different islands and speak in different regional language. Till then, I quizzed my mind to know who probably spoke the best language among us. And one day, I curiously asked my mother, what is most people's language? As I really wish, my mom answer was our regional language. But she answered that the best language was English, which even I and all my friends didn't speak this. It was surprising me well disappointed me bad enough. Then, I try to find this kind of language. Some I see in books, while the other I met in my classroom. But as the time goes by, now I'm 17 years old. And do you know what happened to me? Yes, I meet this language everywhere. Internet, traffic site, songs, movies, characters in my favorite game. Even I believe people of these competitions are all speaking English quite often. It makes me find the reason of why English become the best widely spoken language, like my mom said. It got me feeling like the world speaks to me entirely. And the day I find myself speaks better like today, that is first day when I finally realized learning English changed my life. Well, despite being opposite of English mastery, I got poor enough perceptions on how my mom told me that English is universal language, which now being widely spoken by 1.5 trillion people across the world. This language has been shifted in many industries like sportainment, entertainment, and business. However, the globalizations can be the alternative way to grab a bigger chance of our country to also compete in a larger field of globalizations. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition, the current of English also stand in international business. Some professional workplaces also use English to communicate, discuss, and negotiate in the project. It triggers another employer to master this language, which can give a better performance. As the fact, Indonesia also use English as workplace formal language. Many companies carry out employees who are capable of mastering English to gain larger networking and credibility. Aside from this, learning English of business language is special. You can understand vocabulary specifically, technically practice, and confidently explain. Based on the English Language Center say that almost all of business entirely apply English to communicate. They even basically put English as acceptable value of people to properly work, for we know English is a language of business. That is how English takes to this case. Well, lastly, we can use English to apply for the remote job. Many types of jobs you can get remotely, like becoming design sales, brand promotions, software developer, or translating freelancers. You can choose global company based on your personal skill. Companies like Daimler, Samsung, and Microsoft have mandated English as their official corporate language. They even widely open bigger opportunity for people around the globe to have a word. This is timely relevant to build international connections. As we all know today, sadly, Indonesia is in crisis of workplace. Happy brothers, sisters, and respectable judges. This is just general idea of English in the term of workplace and business. Another massive advantage also lies in the sector of education, which has been probably settled in another speech of fellow participants. We couldn't deny the importance of English in our life. Even I, and every single of you, probably have different contexts, different experience, and different interests of how our first met and before we chose this language. But one thing is true, that we have been set here by English even as participants, but we are already among the champions. Well, happy audience, to close this speech, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, it calmly goes to his head. But if you talk to him in his language, it probably goes to the deepest of his heart. This is what the people need in the world of business. Being trusted by people signs our career success towards something we can achieve early. So, if you can choose a job you love, you will never fear working in the day you live. And remember, we can go ahead towards something we don't even imagine. Because everyone can master the knowledge of everything, but learning language will always have miracle ending. I rest my case.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My brothers and sisters whom I love. Firstly, let's thank to Allah because His mercies and blessing have taken us to be here in a good condition without any trouble and obstacles. Secondly, Prayer and peace always be given to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has led us from the darkness into the lightness, from the stupidity to the cleverness, and the only true religion, namely Islamic religion that we love. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Fitri Nurul Amelia from Al Rifai Senior High School. Here, I'd like to deliver my speech on the title English as an Universal Language. Ladies and gentlemen, English is universal language. This language is used as an intermediate language that we can use to communicate with people all over the world. If we go to a country that doesn't use English as language of interaction, we can still use English to communicate. English has made it possible to connect with people around the globe. No matter what their mother tongue is, English has become primary language everywhere. So, by being fluent in English, we can also open a wider window of insight. Many scientific journals and books that discuss things in more detail use English. There are many more benefits and importance of speaking English that we can explain. So, I will put this into an example, an English speech about the importance of speaking English. Come on, let's see together. In business, English is used widely by the international business community to communicate across national borders and maintain correspondence with overseas business parties or professionals. English is essential. In education, English is important for higher education and specialist training. Most of the books on any subject are written in English or quickly translated to English. English is the medium of interaction in education, in most universities, in higher education institute of the world. For international relations, English is important for maintaining international relation and communication. It is the language of diplomacy, international political meetings, and conferences. Knowledge of foreign language is basic necessity for professional. Today, to success in professional life and make our life easier, it is important to start study or improving our level of English. Simply because English is universal language spoken, read, written, and many parts of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, in this new modern era, we are required to follow each improvement in technology. If we aren't following the progress in technology, we will left behind by others people. With technology, people can easily to communicate with others people in other parts of the world. For example, you are at international airport, you walk quickly and you look confident. You understand all the sight around you, you understand the announcement, you know that where any problem, you can easily to communicate with the airport staff in their language. You walk to your gate thinking how much more difficult it would be if you didn't know English. So, how to learn English easily? First, never think that English is difficult. You will hate learning English because some people say that it is a foreign language. It also has different pronunciation and spelling that can make your tongue slip. For example, a word spelled Giant has its pronunciation and we must read it giant. But don't worry, friend. Think simply and keep thinking that learning English will have a lot of fun. Second, start learning from simple vocabulary. Try to memorize as many vocabularies as you can within a day. Maybe 10 to 20 vocabularies. After that, make a simple sentence and you can use it when you are talking with your friend. Make more than 5 sentences to make you become more creative and brave to speak. Finally, English will be very easy to learn if you have confidence to speak up. Use English whenever you can and increase your motivation to study English. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all about the universal language. I really hope that my speech can give you a little benefit and useful for you all. I'm sorry for any word and behavior that unpleasing your heart. Thank you for your nice attention. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let us praise and thank to the presence of Allah Almighty for the abundance of grace and the joy of all which have been given to all of us. Not forgetting the salawat and salam we pour out to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us out of the dark ages to the era bright like today, namely Islam. May we all get education on the end. Amin. Ladies and gentlemen,
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Gladys Rizky Amalia from Senior High School 2 Malang. Do you know that we have learning English since we were young? At least it began in kindergarten and continued to middle school and high school right now. However, our proficiency in speaking English still needs to be standardized. It is necessary to aware how important it is to master English. So, in my mind, it is time for us to be more appropriate in learning English. Do you know that numerous opportunities we have to learn and change our English? So, in this chance, I'm proudly standing here presenting an inspiring speech to emphasize the significance of English as a universal language. In an increasingly interconnected world, the role of English as a common means of communication cannot be exaggerated. It transcends borders, cultures, and it plays an essential role in various aspects of our global society. One of the key roles of English as a universal language is its capability to foster international understanding and cooperation. People from different linguistic backgrounds can converse, share ideas, and work together effectively, making it a cornerstone for global unity and diplomacy. English is the primary language of the internet. The vast majority of online content is in English, making it essential for accessing information, participating in social media, and staying connected in the digital era. English also plays a crucial role in academia and research. Countless of world's leading universities and research institutions use English as the language of instruction and publication. It means that knowledge and innovation can be shared to around the world extensively. Moreover, English is the language of international diplomacy. It is used in United Nations, international conference, and brigades. This fact certifies that nations can communicate effectively and work together on global issues. English as a universal language is a powerful key to endorse global understanding, collaboration, and progress. It exceeds borders, connects people, and opens doors to numerous opportunities. Therefore, no more excuse for us, especially young generation, to master English not only for academic purposes but also for individual achievement. So we are able to compete in regional and international level. Mastering English is one of the main keys to be successful besides technology. Be advanced in English or we will be left behind forever. By smart work, learning English, and getting involved, there's no limit on what you can achieve. So, buddies, I provide you an explanatory circumstance of why it's an obligatory to be fluent in English. But it goes without saying that we also need to know some tips, methods, or effective way to learn English joyfully, effortlessly, as well as how to master it effectively. It wouldn't hurt to give some of my advices a shot if you want to learn English faster and more efficiently. First, you need to genuinely want to be advanced in English. Secondly, you understand the intention of studying and being proficient in English. Thirdly, naturally surround yourself with the right study. Becoming proficient speakers and have smooth conversation in English, it needs a partner when practicing our English. And the most crucial things is we need to be consistent and persistent using English in our routines. Keep practicing our English until it becomes our passion. Okay, everyone, that's all for me. Hope that helps. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in wa ala umurid dunya waddin والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم أجمعين أما بعد. The Honorable to all the pretty and handsome judges, and of course, happy audiences. I'm standing here in front of you all to deliver my speech about English becomes universal language. But first of all, let's say thanks to Allah, the most gracious and merciful, the Lord of the world, the creator of the universe, who always blesses us in our life, so that we can attend this place in a good condition and happy situation. May salawat and salam always be given to our greatest prophet, namely Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has been guided us into the true path of life, that is Islam. Now, the derivation of the English language took place from languages like French, Latin, German, and other European languages. This can be a reason why many Europeans don't find English as a difficult language to learn. Furthermore, linguists argue whether the simplicity of the English language is the main reason for it becoming a global language. Generally, the difficulty level of a language varies from person to person, and it also depends on the culture to which one may belong. For example, a Korean person would find less difficulty in learning and mastering Japanese language in comparison to a German. This is because the close proximity of the Korean and Japanese culture. English is a very effective language, and this is evident due to the presence of native and non-native speakers on a global scale. Furthermore, according to statistics, 1/4 of the world is either fluent in the English language or content with it. While it's true that the number of Mandarin speakers is the greatest in the world, Mandarin is not a global language due to its complex letter systems, spellings, and grammar. Ladies and gentlemen, English as a universal language, and it is very important. Every people are urged to learn English language, especially for students who are going to enter university or work after graduation. English is perceived to be crucial for communication in the next study. Furthermore, English can increase one's chance of being accepted in the exchange program by improving English. One of the requirements is that people applying should have decent skills in the English language. Therefore, youth should take actions to improve one's English language before grad. Youth must set up goals and find out the motivation before starting improving English. Goals will help youth to sort out what is important and what isn't. With goals, youth will only focus on the thing that they want to achieve and spend precious time on them. Motivation also plays a critical role in learning English language. McDonough, in his book called Psychology in Foreign Language Learning, stated that motivation of the students is one of the most important factors influencing their success or failures in learning the language. When studying English, you might face a lot of different problems, such as financial problem, economic problem, environment problem, and so on. Motivation can help one to keep going despite the problem. If one keeps the motivation high and their eyes on the goal, no problem will seem insuperable. Besides that, attitude of youth towards improving English language also important. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, English is certainly the most widely spoken language in the world. On a global scale, English has the most number of speakers who speak English either as a first or second language. Without doubt, no other language in this world can come close to English in terms of its immense of popularity. I think that's all of my speech. Thank you for listening, and I'm so sorry for any words mistaken or behavior. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit tariq. Summa assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear honorable judges, viewers, and my beloved friends. First of all, let us thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we can meet today in a very pleasant condition. Salawat and salam we will say to our greatest Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In this nice moment, I would like to deliver my speech entitled English for Islamic World Diplomacy. In an era marked by globalization and interconnectivity, effective diplomacy is crucial for strengthening relationships and resolving conflicts among nations. English, as a global lingua franca, plays a pivotal role in shaping diplomatic discourse, and its relevance in the Islamic world cannot be understood. Firstly, it is essential to acknowledge the diverse and rich cultures within the Islamic world, spanning across continents and language. English serves as a common bridge that enables diplomats and leaders from various Islamic nations to communicate effectively, transcending linguistic barriers. By embracing English as a diplomatic tool, we empower ourselves to engage in constructive dialogue and collaboration on a global scale. Secondly, English proficiency enhances our diplomatic influence in the international arena. Diplomacy is not limited to formal negotiation. It also encompasses public diplomacy, academic exchange, and cultural diplomacy. English proficiency allow Islamic nations to engage with the global community, share their unique perspectives, and foster mutual understanding. It enables our voice to be heard and our values to be respected worldwide. Moreover, English can be a powerful tool for promoting Islamic principles and values on the global stage. By articulating our perspectives and contributions in English, we can challenge stereotypes, combat misinformation, and counteract negative narratives about Islam. English empowers us to build bridges of cooperation and convey the message of peace, tolerance, and unity that is at the heart of Islam. To harness the potential of English for Islamic world diplomacy, we must invest the language education and training for diplomats, government officials, and future leaders. We should establish English language programs that are tailored to the unique diplomatic needs of Islamic nations. Furthermore, collaboration among Islamic countries in the field of English language education can strengthen our collective diplomatic influence. In conclusion, English for Islamic world diplomacy is not merely about language, it is about strengthening diplomatic ties, promoting Islamic values, and advancing our global influence. As we navigate the complex landscape of international relations, let us recognize the transformative power of English and its role in shaping more interconnected and peaceful world for the Islamic community and beyond. Think that's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm Hafsah Madania Matskur. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Your Excellencies, the committees, the honorable juries, dear my friend who participated in this speech contest, my loving brothers and sisters. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi amarana bil iman wal islam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'du. First of all praises to Allah, who has been giving me and you all His mercies and blessing. So, we can gather and participate in the contest that's held by Islamic University of Malang on the event of Maliki English Festival in good health. Secondly, Shalawat and Salam may be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought likeness of the Islamic religion on this earth. On this graceful occasion, I would like to convey the importance of learning English in my short speech. Are we here because of learning English mine? On many occasions we hear the term of English. But what is the importance of learning English for us? So, don't go anywhere, I'll explain it. Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to emphasize the undeniable significance of learning English in our rapidly evolving globalized world. English, often referred to as the international language of communication, has become a powerful tool that transcends borders, opening doors to countless opportunities and connecting people from diverse backgrounds. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, English is the language of global business. In an interconnected world where international trade and commerce are thriving, proficiency in English is a key asset. It enables individuals to participate in the global economy, engage in international trade, and communicate effectively with partners and clients from different parts of the world. As we navigate the complex yarn of the business world, the ability to converse in English can be a defining factor in securing employment, advancing careers, and fostering economic growth. Beyond the realm of business, English is also the language of academia. Many of the world of universities and research institutions use English as their primary language of instruction and research. For students and scholars, proficiency in English is indispensable for accessing a wealth of knowledge, collaborating with international peers, and contributing to the global flow of information. The ability to access a vast array of academic resources is a direct consequence of learning English. Ladies and gentlemen, in this digital era, do you have handphone or social media? Surely everyone has it. Do you know the language used in the digital world? Yes, surely English. English is also the lingua franca of the internet. As the digital age continues to transform the way we live, work, and connect. English plays a pivotal role in accessing online information, engaging with global communities, and participating in the global conversation. From social media to online forums, from educational resources to entertainment. Much of the online world is accessible to those who can understand and communicate in English. Moreover, English facilitates cultural exchange and understanding. It serves as a bridge that connects people from different cultural backgrounds, enabling them to appreciate each other's tradition, art, literature, and perspectives. The ability to speak English can foster global unity, promote peace, and reduce misunderstanding in our increasingly diverse societies. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever gone abroad? Or have you ever been confused while learning the language of the country you are going to? By mastering English, you can go any country easily. That's why, in the realm of travel, English is often the language that helps individuals navigate foreign countries, connect with locals, and immerse themselves in new experiences. Learning English allows us to be more confident and self-reliant when exploring the world, and it opens us avenues for meaningful cultural exchange. Lastly, English offers a multitude of personal benefits. It enhances cognitive skills, fosters critical thinking, and encourages a greater openness to different ideas and cultures. It enriches one's personal and professional life, making it a lifelong investment that keeps giving back. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the importance of learning English cannot be overstated. It is not just language. It is a gateway to opportunity, knowledge, and global connectivity. Embracing English means embracing a world full of possibilities. So, let us encourage in super English education, not only for our own individual growth but also for the advancement of society as a whole. Together, we can bridge gaps, foster understanding, and create a brighter future for all. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all of my speech. I hope you gather something new from it and want to take advantage of it. Thanks for your attention. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To our honorable judges, respected audience, and everyone here today, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'd like to thank our job, working class, the communities, and the community. Without you, we still have opportunity to live a better life. Secondly, my salam and salam always will to our Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who brought us from the darkness to his bright era that we're living today. And lastly, I would like to thank you for giving us a special opportunity to come with this country. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dengan sebenarnya, Muslim of Madrasah Aliyah Negeri Kuala. Sebenarnya, all of you children from my school, all of you feel amazing and alive. The version of the skill, socializing the era of colonization, that we receive from various aspects. About colonization, colonization is effective, and we become language. The very strategic role. The strategic questions are in the economy, social, and educational growth. With that limited system, it must be basic. Starting revolutionary culture, we will be found in the elements, right? Our point. Geography. Why elements can be manipulated? And why we don't just want to ability? Cheerfulness. Okay. Even though children with identity are popular in the work. So, all of them are recorded for this work. In the years ago, you have experience a field of quality, and a field of real science. The travel around the world for a few countries. Then, they are provided. But they are not only provided, also free their religion and language. From here, Alice Creek, a important language of international communication. Alice is beginning to open the world. Knowledge of Alice, everyone's creative and personal and professional growth. Alice is a lot of the world are studying throughout Alice and the second United country. Now, in countries like Indonesia, are influenced Alice as technology is school learning. Students is dedicated to adapting and knowledge. Most of my friends in class are fit in English. We must promote accessibility to everyone from our work. Engineering is Alice, and technology is school and work. We include school educational staff and the organization of and the mindset of communication has resulted in the creation of travel education, international education, and technology.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A time to look hopefully ahead to future when the problem which face the world today will be seen in their true perspective. Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, 1972. Good morning to our respected judges, our teachers, our friends, and to the participants here. Thank you very much for coming along here today. Before we start, I would like to ask you something. What do you think about English? What do you think about the language itself? Is it difficult, hard, complicated, or maybe it's a boring thing? But today, I will change that thinking. If we are talking about English, many people will say that's a boring thing. But for me, that's an art. According to the languagegallery.com, to the statistics shared by Babel magazine, English is spoken by 20% of the world's population. Based on ETLOG data, English is the most widely used language in the world. Estimate that at least 45 countries use it. It is recorded that 1.45 billion people will be speakers of this language by 2022. From this data, we can say that the English is used by many people for everything. That's what we are going to discuss today. Everything with English. That means English is a universal language. Universal is general or applies to everyone or to the whole world, and language is a system of arbitrary sound symbols used by people to collaborate, interact, and identify themselves. Therefore, language can also be called a communication system used by humans. As the most used language, we need to learn, acquire, and study about English. Besides learn about English, we need to try to say it, to communicate with English. Why we have learned about English? First, linguistic barriers. Linguistic barriers cause miscommunication problems when people from different states and countries cannot understand the language of others well. English tops the list when it comes. What is the most used language in the world? What is the most popular language in the world? Based on surveys and extensive conducted by the British Council, it was found that the number of non-native speakers who use English as second language is greater than native speakers. Second, the Internet. The Internet changed the world and opened portals to communicate to various corners of the world. Most of content shared on the Internet is in English. All computer hardware and software is written and programmed in English. Third, English is a universal language itself. According to spascabi.ua.ec.id, English is one of the oldest languages in the world and originates from the British Plains, namely the 8th century. Apart from English being the oldest language in the world, English has a very rapid vocabulary development. According to joint research team Harvard University and Google researchers recorded the addition of the vocabulary of the world's oldest language has reached 8,500 words per year, and now the number is 1,022,000 words. How? English is amazing, isn't it? Everywhere and everything with English. Even with our little thing called a phone, we can find many people use English. Just open your Instagram, setting with English, volume with English, information with English, even song with English. Do you wanna build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. Come out the door, it's like you gone away. Do you want to learn English language? Before I close my speech, I would like to give you my conclusion that English is a universal language and we need to acquire, learn, and study about it. B.J. Habibie ever said, learn to be strong from the bad things to your life. Maybe that's all for me, and thank you for your attention.
Americans say, how are you? Arabic people say, kaifa halukum? Because I'm as Muslim, I'm going to say, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, let's thank God the Almighty, the Lord of the world, the creator of everything in the universe. Secondly, May salawat and salam always be delivered to the glorious person, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the lightness. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable jurists, respectable communities, and all audiences in happiness. Today, I would like to present a topic that has influenced our global landscape profoundly: the rise of English as a universal language. Have you ever heard English song? Or you only heard the singer? Like Avenged Sevenfold, Linkin Park, and Metallica as the rock band in the year of 1980. Now, all of them are only becoming a legend band. But there are still many people or English learners like their song to be an example in learning time. Ladies and gentlemen, do you ever think that English will replace Indonesian language as our local language? Yes. The rapid development of globalization has given more crucial problems than ever. The world today is undergoing 4th revolution. Technology, telecommunication, transportation, and tourism that has dominant globalizing force and creates a global village as McLuhan has ever predicted. This condition has created our language heritage, our lifestyle, language, and information technology are some of the real facts that we can see around us. Local language, even the national one, has been replaced by foreign language. We have known together that language is an identity for Indonesia itself that should be protected from the negative influence of globalization. Ironically, globalization is dominated by Western countries that have so many different values from our language values. Even some people argue that globalization is one of the new forms to dominate developed countries by Western people. Till one day, non-Western countries will feel so difficult to find an identity that has been faded by globalization. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of English is a fascinating tale of evolution. From the Anglo-Saxon era to the colonial epochs that spread across continents, English has always been a language in flux, absorbing and morphing with every culture. It has a history of growth, change, and adaptation just like the human race. In the 21st century, when we talk about international business, science, or even entertainment, English will be the language we face. The biggest company like Google and Apple to financial institutions like the World Bank, all of them is communicating in English. This action can be looked from the transactions, collaborations, and innovations. The world of education has also embraced English as a principal medium. Leading journals, international conferences, and top-ranking universities use English to disseminate knowledge, making it accessible to broad audience. By learning English, students and professionals like gain access to a vast reservoir of knowledge. English as universal language should be viewed as a tool of bridge that connects different cultures. It's not a replacement for the rate of languages spoken worldwide. The goal isn't for everyone to speak only English, but for everyone to have English as one of the tools in their communication. Ladies and gentlemen, the last but not least, the rise of English as the universal language underscores their communication. It highlights humanity's desire to connect, collaborate, and understand one another. As we look to the future, let us remember to use English as a bridge to other cultures, always respecting and celebrating the diversity that makes our world so wonderfully complex. And the last I say, wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi viewers, before I deliver you my speech, let me take you back to when we were just students of elementary school. We probably say that the learning method of speaking, reading, writing, even listening in terms of English were the saddest moment during that time. Meanwhile, my parents pushed me to master that language even though I do not know why should I do this and why is it so important. Then now, I have passed these days off for 10 years with nothing. Then when I saw my favorite actor like Jota Slim Gas International, I realized that English is widely spoken by most people in this universe, particularly in my country. Yes, we probably know this. Well, my name is Labil Wildan from LPB Anul Jadid. As well as I share my story to this case, I will talk merely on two things. I will show you why is it so important to learn English and what exactly most possible to do as student student to learn it. For your information, English language is a language that is well spoken by most people around the globe. There have been 53 countries and 400 million people are now speaking in the same language formally. It is why English opens new academical opportunities for students. Chance of landing good job and advancing career is widely open for ones who master English. However, there have been so many entertainment use English language to entertain people, like film and song. And we even have many Indonesia public figures like Jota Slim dive into entertainment as Sub-Zero in the world of Mortal Kombat and Gas International with his elite skill. Besides, Pamungkas and Tiara Adini proudly do the same by one of their English songs as trending among countries and social media like IG, TikTok, and so various familiar platforms. By then, this is how English open big possibility for youths to also chase the wonderful career. Ladies and gentlemen, English also have the same. However, in the world of education, basically English is official language in many countries, including USA, UK, and Australia, which are regarded as having most qualified education. So, English can absolutely take us to some of university in this world. Some cross studies like scholarship, education visitation, exchange student, and any multinational exhibition. However, today English is a language of computer. Many sources use English language to promote knowledge, and many books which are not available in any language but English. So, we can use English language to gain more knowledge and understand more cultures. Like a wise man ever said, if culture is a house, language is the key to open the door to all of us. A student who is getting started of learning English, technology is 24/7 ready to accompany you. We can join such online English courses in so many platforms. It can be like English Academy, British Council Foundation, and others. It is timely relevant to also learn and practice our speaking through social media, film, song, and YouTube, for we know that English is a language of international entertainment. After all, a student who will be the future society, we need to open wider up opportunities in career after learning at school, in which English can create a big change on workplace and remote job opportunities. If it goes that way, we can assure ourselves first who are in periodical game of bonus demography and responsible for 2045 can hold back the capacity to win it with more level of playing field. By then, our generation could be persecuted as the agent of change, who are sustainable, strong, and remotely independent. To end, I hope my speech today can aware people that as young generation, we are holding the power to change our understanding. No one born with success. We have to crawl before we walk, and walk before we run. To exactly measure the success, English is the main weapon for us and to the youth in this globalization. We have no limitation to speak and grow up our career, for we have mastered English. So, I please don't disappoint the time you have passed. because nobody can go back and start new beginning. But everyone can start today and make new ending. If English is now part of everything in this globe, it means we can control this globe by mastering English. I rest my case.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me start my speech by asking you one question. How do people around the world greeting each other? Assalamualaikum is a greeting that means peace in Arabic-speaking countries. Bonjour is a greetings in French, and Spanish says hola. Greetings varies across the culture and countries. But today, I will greet you using our universal language, English. Hello everyone, my name is M. Soma Bashkaila, an 11th grader at SMA Al Yasini, Keraton Pasuruan Regency. Ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed judges. It was an honor for me to be this part of speech competition at Maliki English Festival 2023. So today, in this nice occasion, I would like to talk about English, the linguistic trait that unites all of us. The topic of English as a universal language in today's interconnected world is one of the great importance. English has emerged as a lingua franca. First and foremost, the role of English as a global language can be tracked back by the historical legacy of British Empire and the influence of United States on the world stage. Now let's talk about history for a while. That goes back to the 5th century. The first form of English were spoken by Anglo-Saxons. His Germanic tribes, his mixture of Germanic tribe from Scandinavia and Germany. They broke their language called Old English. They're also Middle English, and the language we usually using right now, we call it as modern language. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask you a simple question here today. Who want to be a businessman in the future? Who want to be a pilot? Who want to be a hotel receptionist or state embassy staff? Whatever you want to be in the future, we can deny that one of the key drivers behind the universality of English is its prevalence in business and international trade. Proficiency in English opens doors to job opportunities, career advancement, and enabling individuals to participate in the global economy. English is the language of higher education, attracting students worldwide to a prestigious university. Indonesia, with institutions like ITB, School of Business Management, Pinus International, and Jakarta State University, offers renowned English TOEFL program. Furthermore, English is a language primary of science, technology, and innovation. The vast majority of scientific research and technology advancement are published in English. This ensures that knowledge is widely accessible and allowing the scientists and researchers to collaborate and share their findings seamlessly. Despite of these advantages, it's necessary to recognize the potential drawback of English as a universal language. Linguistic diversity is a precious part of our global heritage. But at the same time, it can also fade the language culture of the countries itself. It is worrying because the loss of the local language can eliminate the unique culture. To sum up briefly, the rise of English as a universal language is a reflection of interconnected and globalized world, facilitating communication, education, and international collaborations. Nevertheless, as we celebrate the practicality and the power of English as a global language, let us also celebrate the richness of many languages and cultures that make up our global community. Well, That's all I can say today. I appreciate your time and consideration, and I'm really grateful for sharing this stuff with you. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Maheswari Alika Humaira. I'm from Islamic Boarding School An-Nurtu Al-Murtado, Bululawang, Malang. Honorable the judges and the chairpersons, dear all audiences of Maliki English Festival Speech Contest, ladies and gentlemen, in this beautiful occasion, I would like to deliver my short speech entitled English as a Tool for Open Wide Horizons of the World. One of the greatest philosophers of 20th century, Ludwig Wittgenstein, once stated, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." This phenomenal quote suggests the importance of enhancing our language mastery to broaden our horizons. When we only master our own language, in this case, Bahasa, Javanese, Mandarin, or our other local language, we can interact and get information only within our local environment, which are very limited. Thus, it's very problematic that we don't understand public cases and anything which is happening in the borderless world of information. Ladies and gentlemen, as we realize that nowadays a huge amount of information that we got from around the world, especially mass media, is shared in English, such as science, technology, culture, literature, politics, economics, and even entertainment. In that fact, we understand that English dominates discussion in various fields. It sets English become a universal language. As a result, only through English we can perceive words, create ideas to improve our knowledge or convey our great ideas to the global citizens. Here, I would like to invite you all, ladies and gentlemen, to see and realize today's fact about English universality. How English play a major role in very significant in our life. In that way, we will be encouraged to enhance our English proficiencies for the wide horizon with the goal of gaining better qualities of life. Ladies and gentlemen, here, I will present only 3 significant areas in our life in which English play a major role. Then, we can leverage them to open wide horizon in order to gain better qualities of life, namely education, occupation, and entertainment. First, education. The role of English in the fields of education is very significant and extensive. It covers many aspects, especially in the context of higher education and research. The scientific research, journals, and academic literature are published in English. Besides, many leading universities around the world, such as Oxford Universities, Harvard Universities, National University of Singapore, use English as the language for their study program. And if we want to enroll to these universities, TOEFL and IELTS are required for measuring our English proficiencies. Therefore, in this case, we can't ignore the significant role of English. Second, occupation. English is considered the international language of business and plays a significant role in various aspects of occupational world. Global communication among professionals, different language background, and business correspondence, including official documents, reports, emails, and other written communication in the business fields are conducted in English. Even English-speaking employees often required to be customer service and marketing campaigns and branding. Third, entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, English has very significant role not only in the important fields as education and occupation, but also entertainment industry. English is the most common language used in production, distribution, and promotion on entertainment works such as movies, music, and shows. Not much different from occupation era, the whole components on men in the studio film use English for their works. Even we, as the consumers of all kinds of entertainment, have to adapt to them. Ladies and gentlemen,
Actually, there are still many areas that we can reflect how English play a major role. However, those three areas that enough to prove that we must have pay attention to English. In conclusion, let's master English as well as possible, and it is important to broaden our horizon, extend our English, and deepen our insights towards better qualities of life. That's all my speech. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever got insecure of your English skills? Or maybe you feel like your English is not good enough for you to speak it? Well, for most of the time, I feel that way too. And I think it's such a shame that in this modern era, there are still people who got insecure of such a beautiful language just because it's not their first language. The worst part is, sometimes in our Indonesian environment, there are still people who shame and judge other people for simply enhancing their English skills. This is the major issue of our society because they're just so judgmental and close-minded. Little did they know that speaking in English comes with many beneficial things that could make our generation a brighter generation. So, what is these beneficial things we're talking about? Hold on, before I dive more into the topic, allow me to introduce myself. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable judges and all respectable audiences, my name is Majidah Salmawiria Putri from Mandua, Kota Malang, and in this very special occasion, allow me to deliver my speech about removing English insecurity by enhancing English competency. Ladies and gentlemen, English are the most spoken language in all around the world. There are 1.35 billion people in the world who speaks in English. Therefore, speaking in English comes with many benefits, and the benefits, it's none other than connecting with people all around the world, doing international business, enjoying traveling abroad, participating in students' exchange program, and so on. Unfortunately, in our Indonesian society, there are still people who judge, mocks, shame other people who simply talking in English, and even call them soft English when they talking in English. This reminds me of my own experience because when I was in middle school, I was a part of a bilingual class, therefore I speak English a lot. But when I'm in high school, I was a part of a non-bilingual class, but my English speaking habit is still with me, so whenever I speak in English or Indonesian mixed with English, people around me called me soft English a lot. Well, but I don't worry much about that because I know that they only say that because they are insecure of their own English skills. Well, so that no one get called soft English anymore, I will share you 5 tips you can learn and practice your English skills so that you're no longer insecure of your English skills. First thing first, clear up your pronunciation. You can practice your pronunciation by listening to English songs or watching English movies. Second, enrich your vocabulary. This will help you to get more confident and natural when you speak English and helps you to not getting awkward when you speak in English. Third, pick an accent. You can pick and learn an accent like American accent, British accent, Australian accent, or even New Zealand accent. But if you're still new to this, I recommend you to use American accent because it's a lot more easier. Moving on. Fourth, binge some English shows. This is the most fun way you can learn English because not only you can get some new vocabulary, but also some entertainment. Last but not least, masters an English slang. This is the major key so that you could sound more like a native speaker. So English slang is like chill, cool, salty, and buzz. Ladies and gentlemen, in this new globalization era, speaking English is not just a school material. It is a must for us as a young generation to learn English because we could reach many good opportunities and reaching our highest potential if we could enhance our English skills. Therefore, let's stop shaming and judging other people for simply enhancing their English potential and rather speak and learn some English, our English, by practicing more, and more. Like the wise man once said, if you find yourself saying to yourself, but I cannot speak English, then try to add the word yet. I think that's all I got from my speech. I hope there are some positive values you can get from my speech. Enhancing the youth English competency, removing English insecurity. I'm Majelis Salma Muria Putri from Mandua Kota Malang. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Who doesn't know about English? Yes, for all of people in the world know about English. We use English for everywhere. In the school, in the college, in the business, also sport activities use English. Of course, we wonder why English to be the language for all of human beings on this earth. Why English for the universal and international language? Therefore, I am present my speech today entitled What's Wrong with English? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello judges and audiences. Good evening. My name is Muhammad Farazi Firdaus from Ansatu Kota Malang. Let me continue my speech today. Ladies and gentlemen, before that, I want to ask a question. What the meaning of language? Yes, language is the communication system for all of humans to convey messages. However, why does the English is the international level and communication system for all of human beings on this earth? Historically, in the 18th century, English became an international language. This started during the glory days of England, which had many colonies days on this earth. And also that English is territory compared to others, so it can influence the language used throughout the world. Apart from that, there are several factors why English to be an international and universal language. Firstly, English is the most widely used language for all of humans to tell about the community, technology, information, and the others. Like we can see for around of us, brochure, banner, advertisement, almost all of that to tell the information use English for the wide community. Secondly, English is the solution for international cooperation. In the 20th century, considering as a time of development of international cooperation, which had the League of Nations, became the United Nations. The development also encourages English to be the international level. Like we can see for around of us and that we know from the others news. The biggest organization from UNICEF, PBB use English to tell the information for the world and about the meeting for the world. Thirdly, technological development. For all of many humans, to including technology, including information, use English. For example, quoted for BBPMP, English is often used for technical documentation, software development, and also global connect to the system. And also that the other system technology use English to be the main language. So that everyone, we can, the Z generation, as the Z generation, we have to master language to master the world. And that's the reason why English to be became the universal and international language. That's all my speech today, everyone. Thank you for your nice attention. I am Muhammad Farizi Firdaus. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, happy brothers and sisters and my respectable juries. In the beginning of my speech, wise man everyone states, your word is as wide as your language. This statement above brings me and all viewers to the 18th century, where the term was the beginning of English became the international language. But cut a bit. Now we live in the 21st century. The admirer of English is spread in every corner of this world, in which we will find the English language whenever and whatever the situation. Open big chance for all people around the world to have work, understanding more culture. Even the booming system of computer in maximizing English as language usage are the part of today's selection. As students, we surely understand what English is for. So, is English important? Yes, surely 100%. And you know that why should be English language? Why not Arabic language? Why not Mandarin language? Or maybe our language, that is Indonesia language? So let me tell you why. Differently, English is official language that is spoken by 1.5 billion people and confirmed by 67 countries around the world. USA, UK, Canada, Ireland, even Australia are countries which speak English as their first language. The communication of its people really impress every one of them. However, English as most favorite language after Mandarin language will bring people to the very unpredictable destiny. So, learning English could open many benefits for those who bravely fight for their inconvenience. So here is follow. First, by mastering English, we can access world-class education system and establishment. Having best education and institution will inspire people to comprehend some materials. Oxford, Stanford, and Harvard are the best institutions to learn everything. Those colleges are mostly speaking English. However, there has been LPDP program that accommodates all students to continue their academic hobby after they are graduated from school. So, students could sustain a better product of education with English. Additionally, as we all know, English is the language of business. English could open larger fields of employment. Many big companies need people with the English proficiency. Guide, flight, doctor, even inventor are the example. Not only could those, but also by recognizing English to our environment, it can create encouragement for people to communicate each other. Hence, we can open the portal anywhere only by multiverse of English. On the other hand, mastering English could improve the cognitive ability of every single human that include into logic and reasoning, problem solving, and focused attention. So that way, people around the world can globally connect to each other. The cognitive ability occurs naturally in everyone's brain, also knowing new languages like English. Certainly, 565 million people are the estimation of people to operate internet every day, and an estimate 55% of the world most visited websites are displayed in English language. Likewise, English is the language of computer. Besides, many of the world's iconic movies have been produced in the English language. Much on it are in Hollywood movie. We can know more culture of people there. We know for sure how to interact with others, and we develop something urgent only by language. And the last of all, we can easily travel the world. English helps people to communicate with each other in overseas. Imagine ourselves in America enjoying our holiday, but we don't any master English language. It seems like our worst day and the difficulty moments comes out as our nightmare.
Perhaps the misunderstanding leads people to lose the way or even being tracked by strangers is possible incident to happen to them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to answer those points above, the globalization is extremely full of challenges. We shouldn't waste our time to act foolishly and carelessly. This is the time for us to have many preparation and embody the vision of our future. Because we are never too old to set another goal to dream a new dream. Now, let's put our substantial comprehension of learning English to prove the world that we are worthy to face up global challenges. Students, let's build our free will now on, because there are 2 days that we cannot do anything and regret for everything. Yesterday and tomorrow. To close with, wise man ever once said, the ordeal comes true, but the belief in option stimulates every journey that everything has enormous ending. It means that you can be discouraged by the failure or you can learn from it. So go ahead, make all you can, learn it and start it. One day you realize you will find thousand strives toward greatness as you deserve. And I rest my case.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, la haula wa la quwata illa billah, amma ba'da. The Honorable to all of the judges, and of course, happy audiences. In this special occasion, I'm standing here in front of you guys to deliver my speech about the importance of mastering English. But before we go to the main topic, let's say thanks to Allah, the most gracious and merciful, the Lord of the world, the creator of the universe, who always blesses us in our life, so that we can attain in this place with good condition and happy station. May salawat and salam always be presented to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us into the true path of life, that is Islam. Ladies and gentlemen, why must we learn English? It is important for us. We have our own language. Learning different language just make us stressful, doesn't it? Maybe all of the questions above have ever risen in our mind. Well, mastering English is important. Why could I say that? Because now we are in globalization era. In this era, English is needed in many fields. Ladies and gentlemen, mastering English is important because of some reason. First, English is an international language. It means that people all around the world use English when they communicate with other people from different countries. For example, there are two people. One is from Japan and the other from Italy. When they meet each other and talk with their own language, I'm sure they will not understand each other. But when they have conversation using English, they can communicate well. By using English, they can avoid misunderstanding. Mastering English is important as a means of communication. We can interact with other people from different countries. Being able to speak English, it is possible to get a lot of friends from every part of the world. Although we have different cultures and backgrounds. To have a good relationship, language is the key and the language is English. So instead of as a means of communication, English can unite us. And we can share a lot of information, like information about family, school, world issues, and so on. Second, English is important for education, especially science. In order to be smart and clever, we have to read a lot. There are many books written in English. If we do not master English, it is impossible for us to read those books. As a result, we will not get the knowledge. So, English is important to broaden our knowledge. If our generation are able to master English, I'm sure we will be better generation and bring our life better than now. And many people get scholarship to continue their studies overseas because master English. In addition, many universities require the student to get certain TOEFL score to pass their study. It applies not only for English department but also for all departments like economic, science, and mathematics department. In this case, students should master English. From my explanation above, it is clear that mastering English is very important. It is useful as a means of communication, education, and business field. Learn English needs a long time, so we must learn English as early as possible. Mastering English is important for our future. With Learn English, we can help the world. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all my speech. I hope you get benefits from it. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To learn a language is to have one more window to look at the world. That's what Chinese proverb ever said. Hello there, how are you in this fine day? I hope you're always happy and healthy wherever you are. To start off the speech, I'll ask you something. Have you ever wondered why English is a universal language? Okay, so language acts as either a bridge or a barrier to social groups. By utilizing the language of the group effectively, an individual is able to join the group. In today's world, out of about 6,500 spoken languages around the world, more people dedicate their time to learn English as their second language. Ladies and gentlemen, English language is the main foreign language that has been introduced to us since we were a child. Is this, do you think English is important for us? Well, as what we know, the English language is the international language that used for communication, the media, and the internet. So, it's important for us to learn English. Around the world, tourists, travelers, student exchange use English as their common language. They show that English can be bridged for everything. Well, ladies and gentlemen, learning English is actually easy. Before we realized it, we have learned English since we were a child. You just remember when we were in kindergarten, we used to sing alphabets, colors, and number in English. By that, when we go to elementary school, we already know about basic English. In Indonesia itself, English subject is also a compulsory subject for the students. Well, happy audience, because now English is everywhere, so it's easier for us to learn English. Since all leaders these days using phone, the easiest way to learn English for them is by changing their device language into English. By that, they can use to it. For me, the most effective way to improve our English skills is find someone to talk in English even with you. By having conversation with someone in English, it can make you more fluent when you speak in English. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the real reason behind why you should learn English? And why English is important, especially for our future? Well, there are so many benefits that we will get if we learn English. First of all, English is the language of international communication, which also means by using English, we can communicate with people from different parts of the world. In other words, English provides you a path to the world and allows you to communicate and interact with global citizens. The second, English will really help us when we are going to apply for a work. By having English skills, it will help us open up a wide range of careers and life opportunities.
So there are so many employees that can speak English often get higher salaries. The third, in today's world, there are so many students that interest with student exchange program. And one of the requirements to achieve that is by having English language skills. So if you have planned to go study abroad one day, your English skills will really help you. And the fourth, English also gives you more freedom and opportunity to explore the world independently. When you go abroad, you don't need to rely on tour guides who speak your native language. You can just easily get around places and travel by yourself. Well, audience, after all, English will still be needed in our lives. In summary, the English language will really play an important role for our future, because English is understood by the majority of people. Well, audience, although English is not our first language, it is not our mother tongue either, but having great control of English language will make us have a bright future. Well, the last but not least, I'm Nadia Alia from International Standard School of Amanatul Ummah. Peace out.
Thomas Beer said, "The greater the diversity, the greater the profession." A suitable expression for Indonesia with its diversity that we must preserve together. Hi, I'm Nabila Kaila from Mansatu Jumrana. I'm here for telling you about the use of English as a passport to immerse Indonesia and the entire world. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable all of the judges, the Excellency, the Committee of the Maliki English Festival, and all of the audience. First of all, let's thank to God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us blessing and mercy. Secondly, salawat and salam are given always to our great Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about diversity, Indonesia is the best in my sight. The ethnics, languages, and even the religions. The greatness of Indonesia's diversity is something to be proud, especially for me, who was born in the tourism area. I have witnessed how big the admire and curiosity of international community toward Indonesia, especially to its culture. Culture is our national identity that must be preserved for sustainability of Indonesia. Maintaining Indonesia always good in the international side is our responsibility. This is where the role of English becomes crucial, especially in the tourism industry. Through English, we can introduce Indonesia to the world. Language is a means of communication that connects people. Communication always creates new opportunities for individuals to develop themselves. Language is inherent in every people. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said in Quran Surah Ar-Rahman verse 3 and 4, A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Khalaqal insan 'allamahul bayan. Allah created man, taught him eloquent speech. In this verse, Allah gives human the potential to speak, to think, and to use language for communicating each other properly. It is through this ability that human civilization have experienced rapid development. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about my hometown, Bali. Bali is unique. It's a special thing to be solved. The combination of its nature and culture has given big impact for Indonesian tourism, and language plays an important role for tourism, especially in hospitality.
We know that Bali is not only the one tourism area. We have a lot, but we have not explored maximally. In my opinion, the missing puzzle of the tourism issue is English. Just like how Indonesia language unites the entire archipelago, so does English. English has potential to unite people from different countries, especially with its function as an international language. Today, in this digital era, nothing looks impossible to do, to grab, and to have. We can connect to the entire world in a second. And connection means language. The more language you speak, the more relationship you build. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's clear that learning English is a must for us, especially Gen Z. Speaking English fully not only for lifestyle, but also the nowadays need. So let's fight our laziness and tiredness in learning something new. Although it must be hard at first time. If you would like to talk much about Indonesia to people in the world, let them know what we have. Promoting the truth of Indonesia, we do not only talk about kindness of people and the beauty of the nature we have, but we have to learn the language first. It is the English. Because by mastering English, we can tell many good things of our country to the world. In this case, we study English as our necessity. Yes, mastering English is a necessity for branding yourself and your country. The glory of Indonesia is on our hand. So, the last I say, thank you for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Guys, do you know how dolphins talk to each other? And how do they understand the intention and meaning of what others say? Yeah, they use song frequency signals that have level to distinguish one meaning from another. Well, my name is Maliki from MBA Amara Rumah, and I want to talk about English as universal language here. Talking about how people can talk, those can understand what their friends are talking about because they use the same communication tool. This is another one reason why humans also need a tool or language for communicating to connect one another. Humans' communication becomes significantly from how dolphins communicate. Humans learn how to break this down and support the sentence to comprehend each other. And then we have a language, a tool for us for communicating. On the other side, dolphins and belugas also use visual voice sound for communicating, but they can understand each other due to the different ways of producing sound. This situation is similar to how people from different backgrounds might be struggle to understand each other's language. Therefore, find something that can unify us in language, and it used to be English. English are commonly spoken, especially by academics. If we look at a teenager living at Social Marta, we usually use mixed Indonesia and English language as we daily talk. But have you ever wondered how English can get around us? I mean, there must be some background how English can be a communication language. Or we often call it universal language. And why should English? Why not another language? Well, the answer is because there's only a few languages that dominate, and English is one of them. We are presented with the dominance of universal language, making access to anything necessary is using English. Due to the force played by the dominant language, such as during student exchange, studying abroad in university, taking other opportunities to have a wider connection, and so on. Moreover, English plays a dominant role in working today. Many information and companies may expect the job opportunities have a better English skills, especially in written and spoken skills. This has made people to try harder to learn English or getting global or outside certificates. So, they have a better chance to be accepted in some companies. Even they will get a real good job, gain a new experience, and find business partners, and many more. This means English dominates a fight on how we survive, because we need everything by English as requirements. In addition, we can join international conferences or seminars confidently. And we can also communicate with everyone all around the world. In conclusion, we as Gen Z must adapt to the universal language that dominates in all life. The universal language, English, is a requirement for us for living life right now. We can adapt the situations by practicing our English skills, and let's build a comfortable environment for us to learn English. Well, that's all from me. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Honorable judges, respect the audience, and everyone here today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'd like to thank the Almighty God. It is because of Him we are all able to attend this contest. Secondly, my salat and salam always be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who had brought us from the darkness to this bright modern era that we live in today. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the judges for giving me this very special opportunity to compete in this contest. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Nadia Salma and I'm from Asar India Senior High School. Standing here before you all to deliver my speech. I hope you're feeling as amazing as I'm right now. Tough to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. But I'm not here to tell you about what I'm feeling. Instead, I will tell you about why English as a universal language. Around 100 countries in the world now admit English as the main language or secondary language in their country. Because of it, many of us learning English so we can understand another people's conversation in the world. But like this asked question by our friend, why English can be an international language? Why not Indonesian, Japanese, or Minang language? If we look from the history, since ancient Rome era, we realize we need a main language that many people can understand or call as lingua franca. From its history, lingua franca has been changed frequently for all the era. This is also the same with English that have a long history to be lingua franca. Similarly, the big factor that affect how English can be a question mark international language. The first factor is British colonialism. After Industrial Revolution era, Great Britain became a country with the most progressive technology and military. This condition made Great Britain become a country with largest colonies and make their language is the most used language in the world. Then, the factor is not only from Great Britain, but at the beginning of 20th century, another country using English. United States appeared
huge economic growth foreign other countries in the world to use dollar and certainly communicate in English. In effect, the globalization phenomenon also strengthened English as a universal language. In globalization phenomenon, a lot of companies in foreign medias, especially from United States, establishing their office in other countries. As a result, many of us learning English. So we are accepted to work in that foreign company that certainly providing a big salary. Other than that, foreign media broadcast that using English that oftentimes we hear and watch makes us also habitually using English. Interestingly, English has been predicted will still become international language until many years later. In 1050, India has been predicted will be a country with the most citizens in the world, beating People's Republic of China. Until now, India makes Hindi and English as their official language. The result, these countries' influence in the future also strengthen English as international language. And yeah, for us that haven't learned English, maybe we'll think again to learn it. Because maybe in the future we will say bakso as meatball and not bakso anymore. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my speech. I hope we are all learn something new from it and enjoy it. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Locke and Good was ever said that he who is no great language know nothing of his own. Imagine when two people from different parts of the world meet and they need to talk to each other, but all they know is their own. Can you imagine how could they talk? Like a body language? Here is the thing that we must understand. This is where with a language as lead. Great English. Hello, I'm Kani Rajaselling from International Standard High School of Amanat Umar, and today I'm going to talk about how important English as our universal language. Many different parts of the world certainly have their own language as a medium for them to communicate with each other, and also for their interaction. Today, English has truly become a global language, a language for international communication. Most of the people consider that English is the easiest language for them to communicate or even to learn. Since English is mostly understood by the majority of the people, that is only Europe. With this universal language, we are only able to do a simple talk. For example, reason. English can make this really easier to do. It's like a communication between foreigners and locals. Can you imagine if there is no language that's linked between them? It's like English. My friends ever told me that he was about to lost in a tourist attraction. Remember, it's a tourist attraction. So we can sum up that the majority there are locals, or foreigners. Can't speak English with them. But he tried. And unthinkable, he did it. And he got the happily ever after end. No, I was joking. This is explaining how important English is our universal language. Not only for that, I am as a student also need English for my education. Learning English is important to me since I study in a school that applies an international standard. In my school, we clearly believe that we have to speak in English all day long without exception. Since in there, we directed the study abroad. Moving from the adults, in there, we also have to do some of our tasks that describe in English. Don't imagine how can I do the task if I don't even know something about English. That is informing for me to write it later. Or even, how can I survive there if I don't even know something about English? As we all know that I'm not going to survive there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with all of this, we can sum up that English has an important role in our life. Like I said before, consumerism, and the most important thing is education. Having a good control and knowledge of English can really help us to get a lot of opportunities. That's really important because how can we stop learning while bilingual teaching us over the time? Last I say, thank you very much and see you next time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the honorable judges for the 2023 High School Speech Competition held by Islamic State University of Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang in order to celebrate Maliki English Festival. First of all, I would like to say thank you to God because without His blessing, it's impossible for us to be here to participate in this speech contest, and it is a great pleasure for me that I can stand here to deliver my speech. Salawat and greetings also poured out to our Prophet Muhammad SAW, who has guided us to the right path. I am Raina Faiza, a representative from Senior High School to Malang, will deliver a speech entitled Mastering English, Conquering the World. Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize in our neighborhood we have been learning English since elementary school, middle school, high school, even in the college? It means 25% of our lives are continuously accompanied by learning English. Many students who have learned English for years but have not been fluent yet in using it. This fact makes me concerned because there are so many young learners who are the nation's successors are still incapable to grow according to their abilities. It's necessary to be more capable in applying our English as one of global needs. Language is a communication device resulting from human conversation. English as universal language is continuously spoken by the most of the world's population. Surely, there is no doubt in which English as universal language. English is the official language in 70 countries. Several countries such as India, Singapore, Malaysia, and Pakistan use English as their second language. English is understandable by almost all intellectual groups in various places because English is the language of the world's media. Mastering English brings benefits in many ways, even in the cultural sphere. We are able to exchange information and cross-cultural understanding with other countries, not only in the cultural sphere, but also in the economic sphere, business, reaching agreements, politics, and many more. English is absolutely necessary. When making an agreement between two countries, a communication tool that can support the implementation of agreement is needed. That is a language that can be understood by all parties involved. Countries also need information about economic conditions abroad to adjust the domestic economy. And recent news all over the world is often reported in English, so it is completely essential to master it. English also plays an important role in everyday life. When we master a language that is rarely heard of to our environment, our self-confidence and self-worth increase. We can access and understand various kinds of information easily. Our relation will also expand by mastering English. By increasing our relationship, our career journey will become easier. In the education and working world, English is really needed because the tourism in our country has been improved. So, many jobs for the society in the sector of tourism and the skill of speaking English is needed so much. Furthermore, the existence of free trading then make us have to compete harder in finding job. Foreign business are many more existing, so the employing of international language as English has been spreading. Because of that, we are as a student that should still have many times to study. Let's use our time wisely in learning English so we can prepare our better future life. Ladies and gentlemen, here I have some tips and tricks for you how to learn English easily and effectively. Firstly, find a partner who is fluent in English so you have opportunity to practice and make conversation continuously. You can also learn from English movie by imitating the dialogue from the English movie you watch. And for those of you who like listening to music, it can also help you in improving English skills by listening to English songs and try to sing along the song anytime, anywhere. Of course, there are still many various tips and tricks out there. Just choose which one is appropriate and you enjoy it. Okay, in conclusion, we may choose to be a leader or we will be left behind. So one more time I tell you, master English right now or never. That's what I can share. Hope you learned something essential from what I've delivered in my speech. Make sure to keep learning English for our better future, society, country, and entire humankind. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'd like to thank the Almighty God for the countless blessings to all of us. Prayers and creations may always be bestowed on our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers. Okay, I am Safa Aldina Princesa from Man 1 Pasuruan. In this occasion, I would like to talk